XXX Tentacion says, you guys have no idea about frequency in music. You are being programmed. I was a sound engineer at 15. If you are making music these days, it is irresponsible for you to not get in there and fuck with the frequencies and play with them and see how it makes people feel.
Giving something a language to convey universal truths, that's exactly what music is. Music is just a different formulation of a language to convey these truths.
Yeah. I want to talk about the difference between 432 hertz and 440 hertz.
I am so conscious of music in a yoga room, and I really actually don't like taking a yoga class where they play songs with lyrics.
Lyrics as affirmations is really interesting.
Yes. I actually got to go backstage at Red Rocks when I was selected to lead Yoga on the Rocks. They took us down underneath. So all of the dressing rooms and everything is underneath the stage. And the dressing rooms are built into the rocks. And they have this.
Sick.
It's so cool.
In order to almost be a huge household name these days, you have to build a persona and you have to build a world. Consumers are really into it because I think it speaks to the fact that people want to escape. Like people just don't want to be in their realities. And so they want to go into something else. I mean, talk about Brat Summer. Like that was a phenomenon. Did you know what Brat Summer was?
No.
Oh my fucking God.
For those who are deep enough to get it,
But profound enough to not care.
you're listening to Consciously Unconscious.
Good morning, Baltimore.
She was begging me to stop singing that episodes ago, and now you're opening with it?
Yeah, it's feeling like a good morning, Baltimore.
Yeah, hairspray.
Shades on, inside, coffee in hand. Got a little jackety jack.
Yeah, a little cozied up. We're recording in Amanda's house today, and yesterday we recorded our book club episode, which we decided obviously needed to be paired with a little bit of wine. That turned into a lot of bit of wine. And that was the first time that I had drank in over a month, and something came over me.
Something came over you.
Something came over us.
We finished the bottle, and then I said, should we open the Sauv Blanc? Which wasn't even needed to be opened.
Out
It was
a bagged wine. We were playing slap the bag by the end of the night. I was like, this is wild. I'm sleeping over. And I did. And then your children climbed into bed this morning and go, why is Jessa still here? I'm like, baby couldn't drive last night.
Yeah, we had a night. So we're feeling it a little bit right now. But this morning was so cute. Jessa woke up because Lennox came in bed at 6 something in the morning.
Correctamundo.
And Jessa could just hear him like climbing on me and hitting the wall. And I was like, I'm not getting up. And Jessa got out of bed. And I was about to get out of bed. And then she goes, no, you sleep. You're not going to get this your whole week. So
yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so I had a little morning with them. I changed my first diaper. That was fucking insane because usually when you change a diaper, like someone's kind of telling you how to do it. I was completely freeballing it. There was a massive amount of shit in this diaper, which almost made me puke. And that was wild. I'm not even sure that it's on right. Like he's probably leaking all over daycare.
Yeah.
Daycare was a crazy experience. I mean, this morning, like a lot has happened this morning.
A lot has happened. You really like inserted yourself into my morning routine.
Yeah. As an HSP, I've been rethinking the decision to have children after spending a morning at Amanda's house. Not really, but like.
And I do have to say, this morning was a quiet morning.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Well, it's because I kept them calm, under wraps.
You did.
I did a good job with that.
You did.
We colored.
Yeah.
We shit our pants.
You taught them Greek?
I did. I taught them languages. I was telling them how to say good morning in multiple languages and hello. And they're pretty proficient.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they woke me up this morning. Kalimera.
Yeah, they even learned konnichiwa.
Yeah, but Ella said, Jijichicha.
Konnichiwa. Yep, we had a trilingual morning. What else happened this morning? Oh, Amanda took me, we walked them to school, which is just so cute that you can then walk them there.
Yeah.
Scooters, bikes.
Helmets,
everything. Definitely helmets.
Yeah. How to put that one in there.
And we showed up at this daycare, and I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Mind you, it was so apparent to the teachers that Jessa was overstimulated and awestruck that the director emailed me.
This is live as of 5 minutes ago that we just got this email, but we walk in and, I'm carrying Lennox, Amanda's carrying Ellis, and we walk in and like the first room that we walk into is empty. There's no children. I'm like, this place is so nice and cute. And then I just like hear these noises from the other room. And we walk through this like gate. The gates of hell open.
And then it goes, hee ho, hee ho.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ha, ha.
And it is pure diabolical chaos in there. There are Cheerios and milk spilled everywhere. It smells like dirty fuck ass diaper. It is
the whiffs of daycare.
Oh my God, there's like 25 kids in this room. Teachers are on these like tiny little chairs just having their morning meeting. Kids are like ripping apart papers, and some are making forts, and some are chucking Legos, and I can't even take it all in at once. I freeze. It's fight, flight, or flee.
She
freeze.
froze, and then she's like, I gotta go. I'm like, you gotta wait for me.
Oh my God, I didn't know where to put myself. I did not know where to put myself. And I'm like, what? I'm not supposed to be here right now, is really what I felt, truly. And this is insane. Like, no wonder kids cry when they get dropped off, because I wouldn't want to be there either.
Yeah.
And it's not anything shading on your daycare specifically.
Yeah.
It's just daycare in general. Like, having 20 kids ages 2 to 10 in one room.
Not 10. 2 to 6.
I have no idea how
Two
old
to
those
6.
children are.
Yeah.
I can't look at a baby and decipher their age.
You're like, you look 8.
Yeah, I'm like, they're like, I'm 2. I'm like, you're pretty much 8.
Yeah.
Or like, they're like, I'm 10, and I'm like, you look 4.
Yeah.
I have no concept.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting, right? Sending your kids to daycare, and it's such a choice in and of itself. And unfortunately, we live in a world where it's so expensive to send your kids to a childcare center. And so we really lucked out because our daycare is super close. We can walk. However, it's a bit chaos. And I will say this morning was a rare morning because usually the kids are separated into 2 different rooms. But nope, not today. Jessa got the full whammy.
Dude, it struck me.
Yeah. But that's how you know that you have a good daycare director, is that she caught the vibe that we were like, that Jessa was overwhelmed and I was, trying to leave. And Lennox did cry because he saw cake and he wanted to eat it. And they were like, no. So it was chaos. And she did email me and say, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry that Auntie was overwhelmed, is essentially what she said. And I'm glad that she had the social adeptness to pick up on my, it would have been impossible to not pick up on my vibes. I literally turned to stone. I was like, this is making me nauseous in a way.
Yeah. So I
Anyways.
appreciate you coming, stepping in my shoes. I appreciate you stepping in my shoes this morning.
Yes.
It was a big help to me. And it was really, really enlightening and enjoyable to watch you in those moments and see the internal emotions that you were grappling with. It was fascinating.
I'm really ready for a favor from you. I've done 2 favors for you in the last 48 hours.
You're right.
Big ones.
3, actually, because you're leaving your car here.
Yeah, I'm giving Amanda my car for a couple months.
I'm giving you a ride to the airport. What are you talking about? I bought your coffee this morning.
That's really nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was such an act of service.
Yeah. I figured you needed it after
I did.
the morning that we had.
I did.
Anyway, getting into the beverage of the week because we're on the topic of it. This episode is all
Mine's
about music and specifically the frequencies that are emitted through music, why it's important to even talk about them, be cognizant of them. Is it even important? Because I do think that it's also kind of a conspiracy. We're just going to have an exploratory conversation.
What a conspiracy? What's a conspiracy?
There's what we're going to get into about hertz and music frequency and how important it is. It's disputed. It's not fact.
No, it is fact.
But it's not.
Healing through vibrations and sound waves.
Yes.
Fact.
Yes. But I'm specifically talking about with music. There's a conspiracy around it.
All right.
I'll get into it.
We'll divulge that later. But yeah, music and memory, music and healing, sound, vibration, frequency, the idea of what the musical landscape in pop culture looks like. This is a really broad and expansive topic. I have no idea what's going to come up because I didn't prep at all. So we're just going to see.
I did the structuring for this episode because I just think when we did the motion episode, we briefly touched on music and we talked about how music can influence your mood when you work out, and how you can use it to your benefit. And it really got me inspired. So I hope this episode goes the way that I want it to. But while we're here, the reason that I am using our coffees as the beverage of the week is because this coffee, to me, is infused with so much healing vibrations, so much love, capital L love, because we got it from my favorite coffee shop.
We did, from Rich.
From Richie Rich, and he's my favorite barista.
This is the first time I've ever been recognized in public.
True.
So it was pretty monumental, actually, because I'm a woman of the arts, as we know. We are women of the arts. Very prevalent in pop culture and in the media. And this was the first time that I had a fan approach me. I really approached him at his counter and paid him to do a service for me. But he knew who I was.
Yeah.
He literally said, I'm in the presence of greatness. I'm in the presence of fame. Not verbally, but he said that to me through his eyes.
Through his frequency.
Through his frequency, yeah.
But essentially, I think that the good vibrations from the coffee shop and from Rich making our coffee was infused into this. And that's why I was like, we're going to run with this.
Yeah, that's a stretch when we're trying to do an episode on music, but I'm totally going to let you have this one.
Well, we're talking about frequency in music.
We're talking about more than that.
You know, and I will just say that I did enjoy the music that was playing in the coffee shop.
Perfect. That's all you needed to throw in to bring it full circle. I didn't even notice the music.
Yeah, and speaking of music, I prepared a little...
Yeah. Before you whip out whatever you have under there.
I'm going to sing the beverage of the week first, and then I'm going to do that.
All right.
Put your beverage of the week on. Guess I gotta accept the pain. Need a cigarette to make me feel better.
I don't know that.
That's Addison Rae.
Of course it is. Oh, no. What's it say?
Read it and weep.
Hating pop music doesn't make you deep. Where did you get that? Can I wear that? Where did you get that? That's insane. Hating pop music. First of all, I don't hate pop music. And there's a difference between pop music and hyper pop. I don't hate it. I just struggle to resonate with it.
So if you, like me, like pop music and hyper pop music, you know this shirt because Addison Rae has a picture of her wearing a shirt that says hating pop music doesn't make you deep. It was like part of her like marketing scheme.
Okay.
And because we have had so many cases of you not liking or enjoying my music taste, I figured I had to whip this out.
No, it's perfect.
It's perfect. And I did tell Jessa I ordered it ahead of time. This was like I can't get my passport ahead of time, but I can get a shirt.
Yeah, you can get an
Priorities.
Addison Rae shirt on express delivery, but your passport's nowhere to be found.
Yep, precisely.
Perfect.
Priorities.
Okay, well, I think that's a great segue. Hating pop music doesn't make you deep. Oh, it's a t-shirt.
It's a t-shirt.
Oh, it's a little baby tee.
No, it's a regular one, and I just tied it like it's the 2000s, the early 2000s.
Love that.
Because it is still the 2000s. But before we get into, because we're going to explore the musical landscape, I think something that's really interesting, and I was asking a lot of my friends, I felt like Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City, how she like...
I've never seen it. I know. I know. What are you, Patrick Star? You live under a rock?
You know,
Nope,
the
never seen
irony
it.
of you saying that with star patches on your face.
I know.
Anyway, every episode she's writing a new column on a specific topic that she's going to research, and she's going out in the city, and she's like...
She's a writer?
Yeah, you have no idea about the concept?
No. All I know is Mr. Big.
Oh my God. So essentially, Carrie Bradshaw lives in New York. She's a columnist. She has a column in the newspaper, I think maybe in a magazine too, I don't know.
Is it anonymous?
No, it's her, and it's called
Oh.
Sex in the City. So she writes about relationships and sex in the city. And she uses her own experience to write her column, but she also has these three best friends, Miranda, Samantha, and Charlotte. And it's basically just them like sitting around a table a lot of the time and just talking about their experiences.
Okay. So how is this really?
You know, you're actually, I think, very Samantha. Even though you're not like
Thank you.
in the streets, you give Samantha energy. If you have seen it, I want you to comment below who do you think I am and who do you think Jessa is.
Someone fill me in at a later date.
And so I felt very Carrie Bradshaw because I was like going out into my friends and asking them questions.
You were pulling the people.
I was pulling the people.
As you do.
And I think something that's really interesting is how the current musical landscape actually like speaks to a larger conversation about our societal behaviors and what we're craving right now in culture. And I mean, as pop culture does, right? But why are we so drawn to music? Why do we have music? What the fuck did we...
Yeah.
What did we create?
How did we create this? Well, I think there's always been like musical sounds of the universe before we created instruments. And there's always been song and sound and music from our voices and our vocal cords. But I think the thing about music that is the most like potent and powerful part of the creation is the emotion that it evokes in people.
Yeah.
It is so raw in the process of creating the music in itself and consuming the music, where it draws on so many different pieces of your emotional spectrum. Some music and some sounds can make you feel really at peace and soft and still. Some music can make you feel really hyped and like turned on. Some musics can make you feel like really sad and grief driven, and it lights up different parts of your brain, but it also lights up different parts of your soul.
Yeah.
And I think that anything that we've created, like in terms of the field of the arts, has always been a consistent project to draw on human emotion.
Yeah, I mean, even think about it too in film. Like music in films, are you like the way that they score movies? You can change the entire plot.
Yeah.
With just the music that you choose to put behind a scene, which I think is so powerful and interesting. And I saw this quote when I was researching that hit me, and it said, sometimes it can tell us more than the philosopher.
Yeah, I mean, it's a spiritual transmission.
Yeah.
Music is truly, again, for the creators and the consumers, like a download of information and a way to access like a greater collective unconscious, which we'll talk about in terms of like the social sphere and people's songs going viral and kind of like invoking like bigger messages in society and culture, but also like in your own personal experience.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very somatic experience.
Yeah.
I think even like just rhythm in general, like rhythm is so ingrained in us. I mean, even when you're in your mother's womb, like the heartbeat, the rhythm of the heartbeat is so soothing. And then we have lullabies, and that's so soothing. So it can be so soothing. Have you ever seen those videos of indigenous tribes?
I was just about to
singing
mention
through
this.
the rainforests.
I've never seen the videos of it, but I was
It's
going to bring it back to like drumming and chanting
Yeah.
being some of the first expressions of like musical creation and rhythmic creation to match kind of like sounds of the universe, like to match heartbeats and to match sounds of the world and nature, and connecting with like universal frequencies based on chanting and matching pitch in your own voice. And those are like very, very prophetic and spiritual and powerful techniques to heal.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a Greek god, I think, Orpheus. Was he a god? It's Greek mythology. And there's a story about him saving his wife from the underworld, but he had to like go past a beast. And the way he went past a beast is to basically lull it to being docile through the music that he chose to play
So
when he went and saved his wife. And then obviously it worked. But yeah, I think it's so powerful what music can do. And it's, again, what you said, it's so subconscious almost. Like we almost don't even realize what it's doing to us.
Have you ever been to a drum circle?
No.
It's absolutely incredible. When I was in Thailand, there was a drum circle, like I forget if it was Fridays or Wednesdays, whatever, but like once a week on this one specific beach, there would be this drum circle. Oh my God. I'm getting chills thinking about it because it puts you in such a flow meditative state where you're like just like becoming the rhythm. you are one with the vibrations that you are experiencing. And there's maybe a group of like 4 or 5 people, and the way that they all sync up and just kind of like play different rhythms, but at the same time, they're kind of all like flowing together. I mean, it's so primal. It's so beautiful and so primal, and no one's talking and no one's even needing to sing. No one's like, people are just so in this like different state of consciousness that is brought to them by rhythm.
That just clicked in my head because in the previous episode, we talked about the alchemist and we talked about the universal language and the soul of the world. And maybe music is really one of the only things that allows us in a world that's so fast paced and so noisy to get on the same frequency as the universe, to then again, like you said, be one with it.
Yeah.
And truly experience what it means to feel oneness.
Yeah.
That didn't even click in my head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it really is like aligning your brain waves to different states.
Yeah.
Like binaural beats and these hertz and these frequencies that we're now just discovering how to like hone them to, you know, put on a 528 hertz for love or whatever you're putting on. Like we're learning to hone what that frequency does to your brain and your body and what states it puts your brain in, like alpha, theta, beta. And so like specific, what's the like tones of drumming and of like instruments bring you to those places.
Yeah. This is why, so let's dive into hertz, because this is why when I was opening up the episode, I was saying that it's kind of a conspiracy, because I want to talk about the difference between 432 hertz and 440 hertz.
Okay.
Because way back in the day, they would, all of these archaeologists and all these people who find these ancient instruments say that a lot of them were tuned. We're tuned to 432 hertz, which 432 hertz is also the oldest frequency. It's the Schumann resonance. Do you know what the Schumann resonance is?
Ohm. Isn't it?
Oh, is that what it is?
Ohm.
Well, it's the frequency of the Earth. If you measure the Earth's actual vibrational frequency, it's 432.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
It was super interesting because I was watching this video and he was breaking down about how the number itself, 432, is super ancient and symbolic. So 432,000 years passed between the Babylonians and the amount of time that the Great Flood was. The Egyptians' Great Pyramids, in relation to the Earth's size, is 1 in 43,200. Stonehenge, like these crazy things, right? Like these could be maybe stretches, but like
but it's a repeated pattern with this ratio, with this number.
And you know what? The guy in the video talked about Pythagorean.
The Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah, I thought about you.
Yeah.
Stonehenge, if you divide the Platonic year, 25,920, by the number of stones used to construct the monuments, which is 60, is precisely 432.
Well, it's fascinating because the same way that when we talked in the numerology episode of giving something a language to convey universal truths, that's exactly what music is. Music is just a different formulation of a language to convey these truths.
Yeah.
To convey the harmony and the resonance of your body and the earth.
Yeah.
To convey the resonance of like the everything is everything, the oneness, like the drawing on parts of your soul and your body that you can't access just through like other language consumptions.
This is where the conspiracy came in, was in 1939, everyone switched their tuning to 440 hertz.
Why?
So people believe the Rockefellers like had something to do with this, and it was a way to basically make people more compliant. Because again, when we're talking about frequency, like frequency allows you to, it puts your body in these states, whether it's your brain or your nervous system or whatever, it puts your body in these states of being more susceptible, being more open, being more intuitive, being more relaxed, lowering your heart rate, lowering your blood pressure.
Right.
It can also put you in hypnosis. I mean, like that's a whole deep dive as well, like how you use different healing music and frequencies to put somebody into hypnosis or even get them to astral project, like all of
your
these
body's
things.
receptivity to sound.
Yes. And so I guess the theory is that in 1939, the Rockefellers and a few other people made the standard tuning to 440 hertz to get people to be more compliant, because it says that it actually invokes more like aggression and a higher heart rate
So
and
it
a
knocks
higher
people
blood pressure
out of that harmony and equilibrium with what's actually the true attunement of the Earth's vibration.
to be able to be more susceptible to programming.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you know who XXX Tentacion is?
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. Did you ever listen to his music?
Letting go.
Moonlight.
No,
Or
sad. Exclamation
Sad,
point.
yes. Dude, he was my favorite. Like, I was devastated when he died. Devastated.
Didn't he get murdered?
Yes, dude. Outside of a fucking motorcycle shop. He was
Yeah.
going to buy a bike, and then literally
Someone shot him?
Yeah, and there's this whole conspiracy that Drake did it, or like Drake put the hit out. Because oh my God, I was on a rabbit hole of XXX because I watched this like documentary about him and kind of, every theory linking Drake to this.
Yeah, yeah.
And he put on his Instagram story before, maybe like a couple months before he died, and said, if anyone tries to kill me, it was Champagne Poppy. I'm snitching now. The story was deleted, and then he came back and said, like, my account got hacked. Yeah. And there's so many Drake lyrics where it's like 50,000 on my head. That's disrespect.
But why would he want to kill him? So
Only
that
time
he
I
could
ever
be the
shoot-
best in the game?
So apparently, the first song that he put out was Look at Me, XXX. He went to jail. It blew up. He got out of jail. But while he was in jail, Drake made a song called KMT that was like eerily similar. Basically trying to like jack his sound, his flow. And so they just kind of had this little beef. And then there are so many lyrics in Drake's raps where he talks about like, the only time I ever shoot, it says SMS, triple X. That's the only time I'll shoot below the neck.
Yikes.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. My point to all of this was that's a whole other conversation. And if you would like to have it with me, I'm so game. The reason I bring it up is because he has a video where he says, you guys have no idea about frequency in music. You are being programmed. I was a sound engineer at 15. If you are making music these days, it is irresponsible for you to not get in there and fucking fuck with the frequencies and play with them and see how it makes people feel. He says, if I want people to be in hypnosis, if I want people to go to sleep, if I want people to feel X, Y, and Z, I can make them do that based on the frequency that I put out.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
And he was a healer. I mean, so many interviews where he's asked like, what do you want people to know about you? And he's like, can I flip that question? Here's what I want people to know, period. And he basically goes on this whole motivational speech about like, you are never stuck. You create your fucking reality along with the universe. And the whole point of this life is evolution. I mean, I gotta send you this video because you would fuck with it.
Yeah, send. I'm interested. And it's interesting how convoluted and how oversaturated like the creation space has become, where a lot of people are creating for ulterior motives other than to heal through music. And I think that, yes, we're so easily programmed to what we consume and what we listen to. And a lot of times, like, people have music playing all the time and they're just listening in the background, and maybe they're not conscious of the lyrics that they're listening to or conscious of the frequencies that they're consuming, but it's subconsciously programming them, and those lyrics are like somehow being put in the back of their minds and put into the frequency of their own being. And I think that that's why, like, this was so interesting. Have you ever listened to Dark Side of the Moon?
No.
By Pink Floyd?
No.
Okay. It's an insane experience. And so this whole album was written as one of the first albums that is meant to be played as a storyline from start to finish. So you start the first song and it takes you on a journey, and it's kind of like there's no space in between the songs. They all just flow into each other. And it was written after one of their band members was like doing a ton of LSD and doing like just like crazy drugs, and essentially he was the most talented one, who was like the reason that they had been brought to stardom. And he started just getting kind of going off the walls and going off as rocker, which was really sad. And so this was the first album that they published after they had to kick him out of the band. And so a lot of the theories of like what it's about are basically a dedication to him and his time. I know, his time in like a mental hospital. It's this strange journey, which is very eerie at some points in the songs, and then it like turns to this like rhythmic flow, kind of like jazzy vibey state, and then it goes back to like these weird beeping and ticking noises. Like it's very sensory. But the first time that I listened to it, I'd taken an edible and I hadn't smoked weed in a really long time or like been high, and I was like, I think like I should listen to Dark Side of the Moon. I don't know. And I was laying on the carpet in my floor, and I had the speaker like right behind my head, and it scared the fuck out of me. It was like a really nerve-wracking experience when the song first started, that it was almost like sending me into a bad trip, like a bad high, because of the noises in the songs just being like really eerie to me.
Whoa.
And I remember just like having to shut the music off. And anyways, the point of that being like how different songs can really program and evoke different feelings in you. And there's a lot of that happening without you even knowing.
Which is really interesting, because when you were saying that, it made me realize listening behavior has changed. Where before, you had to buy an album, and I mean, you had to go in person to experience music first. Then you had to buy an album and put it on your vinyl, and it was a choice, and you couldn't skip through songs. You probably could, but you just had to listen to the full album as a work. And then it was radio. And so still, we didn't really get to control the experience. And now we have SoundCloud, Spotify, like even like the LimeWire days, we can literally download.
I remember burning CDs.
Like we can download and curate our listening experience. So maybe we're not being programmed as much because we can curate that. But lyrics as affirmations is really interesting, because even if we take X's music, like he had beautiful frequencies happening, but he literally has a lyric that says like, I want to put 10 shots in my brain. Like, well, that's not good for us to listen to.
No.
And there's something about like music in songwriting being so vulnerable and being able to relate to people. But I mean, if you listen to that stuff all the time, I mean, it's like sad girl music. I mean, it literally changes your brain chemistry.
I get so emotional when I go see a live show. I am such a concert junkie. Like I've always loved to listen to music live, and I've always loved to kind of like try to dissect and understand what it must feel like for those people on stage playing and jamming and being in this like state of creation in front of thousands of people. And oh my God, like, first of all, that's just insane. And second of all, I think it's unbelievable what a powerful platform that is to utilize your lyrics to preach, to heal, to give. And like, it doesn't always have to be that deep. There is a such thing as like creating and listening to music just for like pure pleasure and fun. And it doesn't have to like resonate as this bigger message. But a lot of times, like, I just think of these people as true prophets. They are giving messages on this massive stage to people. And it's almost in the most powerful way possible that people aren't totally aware that the way that they're consuming it is that potent, because they're just like, I'm going to listen to a concert and sing along to the lyrics that you're programming and affirming in your mind, versus I'm going to read this self-help book. It's like, one time I was at a Chelsea Cutler concert.
Oh my God, deep cut.
Yes.
Chelsea Cutler?
Chelsea Cutler.
Wow.
And I was next to the lighting booth, and her parents were standing in the lighting booth. And I ended up talking to her parents like almost the full concert, and just being like we were like crying together. It was so emotional, because I was just like, what is it like to watch your daughter on stage performing and creating? It's just like a very... I mean, this goes back to like the parasocial relationship that we talk about the way that we idolize these people, but it's fascinating to me. The stamina, the fearlessness, the like total confidence that these people have to show up in a space like that. And find their flow state in a performative way.
Yeah. Have you ever, I was laughing because I saw this skit that this guy did, and have you ever seen it where he literally like does the skit of the artist on stage having their like I made it moment when everyone is singing their song back to them?
No.
He's just in his bedroom and he's got his headphones and he like takes his headphones on. He's like,
I made it moment.
And then he goes back into it. It's hilarious. But have you ever seen, I might butcher the actual organization name, but I think it was Live Aid, Queen's performance.
No.
Oh my God. I mean, you know Queen.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested too how music can be like political and how it can be this movement. And you have to watch the Live Aid. It was raising money for AIDS because he was dying of AIDS. And it is so powerful.
Well, it's the dichotomy that anything communal and unifying can also be divisive.
Yes.
And so as communal music is, it's also very much like a separation of people's likes and dislikes, people's beliefs and non-beliefs, and people's like, it's a way to both combine and separate at the same time.
Yeah. Do you listen to Janae Ayoko?
I have some songs saved, but
she is doing a really wonderful job at bringing healing into mainstream music. She's not as mainstream anymore, but a lot of her old songs, like I'm Triggered, that song. You know that song?
No.
I'm triggered when I see your face, triggered. No. You would know it probably if I played it for you, but she had a lot of features on rap artists' songs. And then she was like, I kind of want to take a step back and do my own thing. And she, created such healing music. You have to listen to her album. I think it's called Magic Hour. You would love. I listened to it in the park the other day with just like my headphones on, laid in the grass. It was amazing. But I want to go back to 528 hertz.
Okay.
Because we didn't touch on 528 hertz.
Love.
Which is love.
Right? Yeah.
Is love, is the frequency of love. That's the frequency at which bees hum at, which is why beekeepers are so like zen. They have done studies about beekeepers being so much more healthy because
that's so interesting.
They listen to the humming of the bees every single day.
That's so crazy.
Should we get some bees?
Yeah, except I am terrified of bees.
Oh, are you?
I just would like to avoid pain at all costs. I don't want to get stung.
Yeah.
But that's really beautiful.
Yeah. And this is like the solfeggio frequencies. And again, a lot of ancient instruments were also tuned to this. This is the frequency that, where is it?
What, 528?
528 is the frequency of Saturn. What? Saturn buzzes at this frequency. Buzzes
at this frequency.
Yeah. And I was also watching this other video with this guy explaining that there are 9 notes of the universe. It's not do, re, mi. It's actually ut, re, mi. And mi means miracle note, but it's in Latin, it's mira gestorum, but it means miracle note. And that's the 528 hertz. It's the miracle note. It's the energy, the frequency of love.
I love that.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about frequency, I think we have to clarify that that's like a measurable thing where we are watching the waves that
It's vibration per second is hertz.
Vibration per second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How many vibrations per second?
Yeah.
That's
and
hertz.
we measure that based on the literal waves that we can put in. I don't know what type of instrument measures that, but
yeah. Yeah. And the sun is also 528.
That's crazy.
Yeah, El Sol.
El Sol.
But yeah, it said that the body will like develop a stronger sense of self-love through solfeggio frequencies.
I love solfeggio frequencies.
Yeah.
I often have them playing. Like if I have music on in my house, that's what I have on, or sometimes I'll just drive with them on. Like I go through phases when it comes to my consumption of music. Sometimes I'll be really into specific artists. I'll be really into kind of like moving through emotion through my music with whatever I'm going through. But other times, like we always joke that I'm a highly sensitive person. And when I came over to Amanda's house yesterday and haven't left, I've been here for 48 hours. I mean, she always has music playing in this house, which obviously is like for the kids and just kind of like for some background noise, like just add to the chaos. Why don't you? But I was like, can we shut that off? Like, it's overstimulating to me. I oftentimes, especially recently, have found that I can't consistently consume lyrics and sounds and music. It needs to be something that is just genuinely like soft and in the background. I've been driving a lot without music, and I think we are really like used to constant consumption of noise.
Yeah.
Whether that's a podcast or whether that's music or
Wait,
whether
sorry,
that's...
did you just say that you were driving in silence recently?
Yeah.
That's psychotic of you.
No, it's not. Or if I go for a walk, I will not put in headphones.
Oh my God, I can't do that.
And just listen to like the sounds around me, because I think as healing as music is, and as much of like a cool catalyst it is to emotion and growth and, you know, self-dialogue, I think we overconsume it.
I agree.
I think there is a massive...
Well, that's the perfect word for it, because we don't listen to it, we consume it. I think that there are very...
You mean we don't digest it, we consume it?
No, I mean like behavior-wise. People don't sit down and listen to music anymore unless you're at a venue.
Yeah.
It's just on and you're subconsciously consuming it. You don't recognize... I mean, even yesterday when I'm in the kitchen doing these, I have the music on because it's in the background.
Yeah.
But I'm consuming that without knowing that. But we're not intentional about it anymore, is my point.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's why I love a show.
Yeah.
Is because I'm intentionally consuming the entire experience.
What was the coolest music venue that you've been to? I mean, for me, it's Red Rocks, which is like so basic, but...
Oh my gosh, this is a great question. I mean, Red Rocks is unbelievable to be so immersed in the natural environment. And I think the thing that I love about Red Rocks is that not only everyone who's a listener is so excited to be there, and the reverberations of the sounds on the rocks, and like you're really just like in the earth. You know that is such a prominent and profound venue that the artist themselves is peaking while they are on stage. They are so pumped to be there. They are so stoked. It's not just like any other show at Ball Arena or any other show at like a big stadium.
Yeah.
It's a super, super spiritual venue for them to be performing at. I actually got to go backstage at Red Rocks when I did Yoga on the Rocks, when I was selected to lead Yoga on the Rocks, and they took us down underneath. So all of the dressing rooms and everything is underneath the stage, and the dressing rooms are built into the rocks, and they have this
sick.
It's so cool. They have this tradition where everyone who performs there signs the wall. And so you're walking down and you're seeing all these names of all these like such famous, cool artists. Like you're passing MGK and you're passing like the Ava brothers, and you're passing like, I mean, everyone. It's so, so magical. Like, and
Talk about the vibrations that are coming from that.
Right. Like prepping for your show underneath in the earth.
Yeah.
Is crazy. So yeah, I agree. Like Red Rocks is probably one of my favorite venues, but I'm trying to think if there's ever been a venue that I've done like near the water or something.
I also think that the Sphere was a really sick experience.
Yeah.
Because it married music and sound with visual, that's like the only time I've ever experienced that.
And how opposite comparing Red Rocks and the Sphere.
And I much prefer Red Rocks.
Yeah.
There's something about too, and I've said this before, I think I said it on the emotions or the nature episode. I just feel like there's something cooler and more peaceful about listening to music in a vast area versus like in a container. Like the Sphere was very contained, right? Like the music was there. But when you're outside, it just like drifts.
It goes off into the ether.
And it's so much more peaceful. Maybe it is the vibrations coming from the earth that like we're feeling alongside these vibrations coming from the musicians.
Yeah. Yeah, super interesting. Another thing I think about often is the amount of song lyrics I was able to memorize in my developmental years. Between like 12 to 22, like the most developmental years of your life when your brain is forming and you're just like a little sponge.
Yeah.
And how much more difficult it is for me now to memorize lyrics than it was before. And how I can randomly pick up a song that I listened to like on repeat when I was 13 and remember every single lyric.
Yeah.
And how connected music is to memory, because it lights up parts of your brain. Like it lights up your hippocampus. They've done studies of while people are listening to songs that resonate with them, like their brain lights up in the spaces where it's connected to memory.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating that specific songs can take you back to specific times in your life.
Yes. Yeah, or when you're driving in the car and like look out the window and you pretend that you're in a movie listening to a song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally putting a soundtrack to your life.
I mean, speaking of a song bringing out a memory, do you know Annie's song?
What?
You fill up my senses.
Yeah.
That was the song that was playing when Lennox was pulled out of my stomach in the C-section in the OR. That was the song that
You
was
had
playing.
music playing?
Yeah, we brought music.
Wow.
Also, hot take: bring music into your OR room. Like they let you. We brought a little speaker.
Bringing solfeggio frequencies.
Yeah, bring solfeggio frequencies. But yeah, it was Annie's song when he was out, and it was so. Oh my God, that was just like my favorite time.
Yeah, that gave me chills.
Yeah, I want to go back because I want to show you the difference between 432 and 440
Okay, you're going to play it?
hertz. Yes, and I
Okay.
want to show you what it looks like too when water is. So this is water's sound image at 432. It's like this beautiful pattern, and that's it at 440.
Fascinating.
So imagine that happening to us.
Yeah.
Very harmonious, very beautiful pattern at 432, and then chaos at 440. I want to play 432 versus 440.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me which one you think sounds better.
Okay.
Not a Dick's ad.
I'm like, this doesn't sound like frequency.
Okay.
It's like every time I thought I figured it out. But it's like every time
That sounds awful.
I thought I figured it
The second one sounds awful.
What hertz do you think was the first one, and then what one do you think is the second one?
I think the first one was 440 and the second one was 432.
Yeah.
432 is what they changed it to.
Yeah, and it sounds
Yeah, it
awful.
sounds terrible. It's like mutilating my brain.
Yeah, but 432 is supposed to be the good one.
Wait, I'm confused now. I'm
You're
super
like,
lost.
I reject my answer, actually.
The second one sounded worse, but you're saying that's supposed to be the good one?
Yeah. So that's why people are also saying, like, this is fucking not true.
No comprendo.
Yeah.
No comprendo. Period. And that's
Yeah.
on period.
In that sound period.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I definitely heard a difference,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. But that's the thing. I'm like, utilizing these frequencies when it's applicable. And so a question I want to ask you is in the yoga room, how do you curate
yeah.
music to evoke whatever theme or feeling you want from these people depending on the class?
I am so conscious of music in a yoga room, and I absolutely despise when I go to a yoga class and they are playing songs that just like completely don't match the vibe.
Feels like an
or they're
afterthought.
or they're playing songs that I really actually don't like taking a yoga class where they play songs with lyrics because it's really distracting, to the teacher's cueing, and it's just not fitting the like trance-like state that you want people to find in their movements and their breath. So when I teach a power vinyasa class, which is kind of my specialty, I like to, first of all, I will never put songs with lyrics. And I like to kind of create a playlist that's like a bell curve, which is how I want people in class to show up. And so creating like slower BPMs, softer music to start class. And then I basically have it set where I have like one song that I choose as my intro song, which is after their child's pose or after they're kind of like starting on their back or their Siddhasana. And that's when I get them to start moving intuitively in their cat and cow.
What's Siddhasana?
Siddhasana is just like a comfortable seat.
Ah.
And that song always kind of has like a little bit of a faster paced beat. It starts to get like a lot of times it has drumming to kind of activate your nervous system, to kind of create this like energetic flow space in your body where you're like waking up, you're warming up.
Yeah.
And then it's this bell curve where when I'm having people move through the most difficult postures of class and move breath to movement, knee to nose, like arm here, like you're working hard at this point, the music speeds up and it's not ever like overwhelming, but then you kind of like bring people down at the end. And I think that I notice So am attuned to the fact that like if there's not a good song on when I am taking people through a difficult part of class where they need that like power behind their movements,
Yes.
I'll go to the back and I'll change it. Like if it doesn't line up for where I am in class, I will put a song on, and I know my playlist well enough to like choose one that fits, but it totally, I can see the way that it collectively affects the energy of the space in terms of what people are willing to contribute and how intuitive they're willing to move and be. And there's nothing worse than being in a class where they're playing like fucking Taylor Swift in Shavasana. And I'm like, are you joking me right now?
And even the volume of it too.
Yes.
If it's too low, I don't get in the feeling, in the vibe. I don't like get present enough to like connect with just my body and breath.
Yeah.
I am somebody that needs that. Like, I like a yoga class where I like it when people are mic'd.
I love being mic'd in
Yeah.
yoga class, actually.
Yeah. Because then I can hear you, but I'm also being fueled by the music.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll turn my music up and down during
Yeah.
separate parts of class too. So I'm taking them through a slow flow. Like the music is a little bit slower down because I need you to pay attention to my cues.
Yeah.
I need you to like listen to my anatomical cueing so you can find your body. And then the second time that I take you through that same flow where you know where you're going and all I'm cueing are inhales, exhales, and the name of the posture, music turns up. So it's very... It's just so part of such a special, complete yoga class. And that was part of my 200-hour training that I think they should have paid more attention to.
Did they touch on it?
Yeah, they touched on it where they tell you like how to curate a playlist to match the vibe of the class that you're teaching. I mean, if I'm teaching a restore class or a yin class, like I'm playing songs that are longer, 5
cool.
to 6 to 7 minutes to maybe match up with how long people are holding postures. But so you're not like constantly changing between songs. They are much slower. They're a little bit more like rhythmic. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm sure that also helps you stick to the structure of the flow based on the songs.
Yeah, I think that's another thing too. Like you kind of learn your playlist so you know when you get to a specific song in class where you should be in the flow.
Yeah.
I mean, now I can teach a yoga class without looking at the clock once, or if I didn't play any music, and probably teach exactly at 60 minutes. I just know how
Yeah.
long. Like I just have the flow, but the music definitely really helps, especially if you're a newer teacher, creating a playlist that can help you time your classes.
People talk about that, a tunnel playlist, like specifically too in the lens of mental health, allowing you to go through the emotions that you need to go through.
Yes.
But in the metaphor of a tunnel where you're going into a dark place, but there's light at the end. And so I thought that was really powerful because something that I don't do often is make a playlist.
Oh my gosh, I make playlists all the time.
I don't do that often. I've been making one for France, but there's one that I've been like slowly adding to, and it's called "Oh How I Love Being a Woman," and it's very much like my feminine pop girl. Is like I won't put a song in there that's done by a man. Like it's just the girls.
Yeah.
And that feels super like fun for me, but I really rarely will curate like a playlist.
It's for me, it's such a form of storytelling.
It is.
It's such a creative act and is such a like emotional regulation for me to create the vibe of a playlist where I am consciously consuming and intentionally consuming songs that I feel fit a similar vibe, evoke a similar emotion, or kind of create this cohesive storyline in a playlist.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Like, it's really fun. And what you were saying about the tunnel playlists, like you think of shamanic rituals and ayahuasca ceremonies and peyote ceremonies where there is literally a shaman that is there to guide you through the ceremony via sound, vibration, music,
Yeah.
frequency. They're there to, yes, hold the space and keep you safe, but like I should know the languaging around it. But like the sing-songing and the playing the instruments and the chanting is what guides you through your journey. It's really fascinating.
What do you think about singing bowls?
I think they're amazing, and it's been on my list to learn how to play them.
Yeah. Because it's an art.
Absolutely.
I've tried to fuck around with one and I'm like, oh, that sounds terrible. It sounds like the 432 hertz that I played for you.
Oh, don't like that. I have been wanting actually to invest in singing bowls. If you get nice crystal singing bowls, they're quite expensive.
Yeah.
So if anyone's looking to buy me a nice gift, I would love a set of crystal chakra tuned singing bowls.
But you know, this would actually be Zeus. I'm calling you out. This is actually, I'm just having this thought now, and don't fucking take it if you're listening and you do retreats or anything like that. It would be sick to do like a sound retreat.
Yes.
Where
I have an entire concept written out for that.
Oh, you've already thought about this, I
yes.
guess. Naturally.
It's not original. But yes, like, keep going.
Yeah. I just think it would be so cool to work with people who do this shit, who either are DJs who can pump us up when we want to like get into our bodies and do like the, you know, what was the dance experience that you went to?
Oh, my ecstatic dance.
Ecstatic dancing. Like if we wanted to get into like ecstatic dancing, or if we wanted to learn how to fucking twerk, I don't know. Like, or if it's singing bowls, someone who's very well versed in singing bowls. Like, I don't know. I just think that something that intrigues me is people who dedicate their entire lives to sound and music. And I was never trained. I mean, I literally I think I took piano lessons and guitar lessons and I sucked. So I was like, I'm not doing this.
I was a hella good flute player. I was first chair.
Really?
And in jazz band.
And you didn't get overstimulated by that?
No.
All the kids going. That was pretty good.
I mean, I quit, so something must have happened. But I still own a flute. I'll play for you guys someday.
You do?
Yeah.
You've never played me the flute.
I can play you the B scale.
I'm hurt.
Yeah. I think when we talk about music too, you brought it up briefly, we have to talk about the connection to the physical body that it creates in terms of movement in your physical body.
Yes.
Because music and dance comes hand in hand.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because the other day Lennox was pissed. And I was trying to get him in the bath and he just did not want to go in the bath. And I started playing music and he was like so not about it, but his foot was going. Yeah. His foot was jumping and then he was like,
you can't help it. You can't help let the rhythm like take you over. And I think we feel very inhibited sometimes in our bodies just in general. But music is such a beautiful outlet to connecting with physical form, which goes back to like this ecstatic dance experience of being completely free and moving super intuitively and just like allowing energy to move through your body very somatically.
Yeah.
And dance is a beautiful expression of the music moving through you. And dancing has, always been viewed as something that like has rules around what it should look like.
Yeah.
And we must move beyond that to feel the full effect of how the music can heal you. But
we must.
Yeah, we must.
Have you ever been swing dancing?
No.
Or line dancing?
I did take a tango class when I was in Argentina.
Really? How'd that go?
I can't remember, but I got a certification for it.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Could never do it right now if you asked me. But it's very much about like, you can't be stiff. You can't like try to do step, this. It's like
it's intuitive.
So fluid and so intuitive. And you have to let your partner guide and you have to just like really feel into the music.
Yeah. That's on my list. I want to take a couples dance class with Lucas and then I want to take a twerk class.
There was one night. Yeah. You have been saying you want to take a twerk class so bad.
Yeah. I have an opportunity to. We just haven't been able to like get it on the schedule.
There was one night where I was out at a bar and there was like 5 different floors and I had been chatting it up with this guy on the rooftop and he was, I want to say somewhere from South America. He was South American. And he was like, let me take you and teach you how to dance. And I was like, no. And he took me to like the floor where they were playing Spanish music and just like completely whipped and twirled me and like was like,
was this a burn down?
No. Was I dancing with someone there too?
I'm like, why do I have a memory of this at your birthday? Like your 26th birthday or something like that.
God, probably.
Maybe this was different.
Anyways, the point being is that like I was so like, oh, this is uncomfortable. And he was like teaching me. He was like, no, you just have to trust. Like when I turn you this way, you move this way. When I turn you that. And I was like, wait, this is kind of fun when I'm just like
Yeah, uninhibited.
Free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to dance more as a culture and do it in a way that's not judgmental to other people and to ourselves. Like, it is so healing. To wrap this conversation up, I want to talk about the landscape of music currently.
Tell us.
And
I'm kind of out of it.
What?
I'm out of the current pop culture landscape of music.
That's the thing. Like, when I talk about this, I'm talking about it on like a pop culture scale, a mainstream scale, kind of like the Grammys, what was being seen, trending in those things, because music is so niche and it's so preferential, especially now that we can curate playlists and we can just be in this echo chamber of what we like. When I'm talking about this, it's very mainstream, and I think there are very, very noticeable things that are happening in culture right now with music. A lot of hyper pop, femininity, queer people coming and making these bangers and these really political like songs. And I mean, Chapel Roan is a great example. And also there is this element of like country music too, and what's coming back with country music. But all that overview to say is, I think it's very telling of the age of Aquarius. How the age of Aquarius is very much like decentralizing the power, and how there's a rise of independent artists, and this radical expression of individualism. And so we have these people who are coming out and creating music that is very specific in persona, in individual, or in their individual expression that people are feeling seen from. So Sabrina Carpenter is super interesting because she's this like 1960s housewife vibe, but her music is very raunchy and very sex driven and funny, and you wouldn't find that in the 1960s. So it's almost this like political statement on this type of archetype. We're going to flip it on its head.
Yeah. I see it as like, the music has always challenged the political climate.
Totally.
I don't think that's a new concept. I think, you think back to, what is Bob Marley's famous song about like peace and love?
One love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One love, one heart.
Yeah.
And like his documentary is actually really interesting.
I mean, even Bob Dylan, I mean, the Beatles, everything is political. My point was to say that it's like mirroring the age of Aquarius. Yeah. Not just like, this is the sort of political music. I'm saying like, oh, I didn't say this. This is what I meant. I think that right now people are really interested in innovation. That's the age of Aquarius. And people are doing things that have been done, but really speak to the climate of like Chapel Roan doing a country song, because gay people are not celebrated in country music traditionally. So she's flipping that genre on its head. Beyonce creating an entire country album and winning a couple Grammys, I think. Like, all of these people who are not traditionally meant to be in these spaces, these genres, saying fuck that, and stepping into them, and I think it's really telling of where we're at and what people want and what people are living for. Like, people want to have this energy of like, fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna create what I want to create because I can.
I think it's interesting that music is created out of a space of like general, I want to create because I also want to heal alongside my listeners. And also like, I'm creating this only to make a fuck you statement.
Yeah.
And there's power to both. I think that music really lands when you can tell that the artist is creating from pure like soul expression.
Yeah.
Versus just creating to make a statement in the landscape of pop culture. And one of my favorite examples that I will always mention is Ryx.
Yeah.
And he is that's probably actually the coolest concert that I've ever seen. I saw him in a chapel in a church, and it was so ritualistic and ceremonial, and like it was church.
Yeah.
And he really, I mean, he's so interesting. He does an amazing interview on the Know Thyself podcast, which I tell everyone to listen to, because he really talks about his creations being this live, real-time representation of his healing and his journey and his story of heartbreak and grief and loss and humanness. And that's why people are so drawn to him as their guide, as their teacher, as their guru, as someone who is just so raw in what they create, and it's not creating for any other purpose other than like the authenticity of creating. It's not creating to make a statement for himself in the public eye. It's not creating to make a political stance. It's literally just creating to create.
Yeah. And to heal.
And to heal, absolutely.
Yeah, like he's
and
doing
to tell a story.
incredible work. He's doing that video that you showed me too of him doing a set. Where did he do that set?
Oh my gosh, and like in the desert.
Tell people about that.
His circle music set.
Yes. Circle music.
If you guys don't know about circle music, you now know, and you're welcome. They do these incredibly curated sets with amazing artists and amazing DJs where they put them in just these wildly offbeat locations, playing a set in the middle of the desert, playing a set in a hot air balloon, playing a set at the pyramids of Giza, playing a set at the Colosseum. I mean, like these crazy energetic spaces. And sometimes there are people who are there actually watching them perform live, and sometimes it's just like a recorded event. But go look up Circle Music on YouTube and watch a couple sets. There's some really amazing combinations of people putting their art in these culturally just like relevant and powerful spaces, and putting the two together is fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. And then I went to the concert too with you and heard his
Oh yeah.
You came back and we went to his concert in Denver, and it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
His music really is like, you can feel it. It's changing people.
One of the things that I loved that he did was before the show that I saw in SF, when I went and saw him at the Cathedral in San Francisco, he does an even closer immersion before the show, where instead of doing a meet and greet where people go and take pictures and he signs autographs, it's a space for both him and I think there was like 50 people there to drop in before the show. So we did a meditation. It was a workshop essentially. Now he's added in movement and yoga, and I'm like, let me teach your yoga classes for you.
Yeah.
Like, let me be part of that. Love you. And he kind of gets people into the space of like, let's ground together and let's have an opportunity where like I can get to know you and you can get to know me. We can take a Polaroid together. Like we can meet, but it's not in a like I'm anything other than equal to you way. And he prepares himself for his shows that way as well. And so we did the Even Closer event. We went to his show, and then we went to his after party because my friend Rocky is friends with him and surfed with him and like went on a different retreat with him. And it was like this mini Burning Man festival where he transitioned from this artist who was playing all these like, you know, very like soul healing frequencies on stage. And then afterwards at the after party, he's sitting in front of a DJ deck and we're all just like chilling and drinking tea. And it's like, we're on the sheepskin rugs and we're at this like crazy house in the middle of the woods. Like just the breadth of like competency in any musical space that he has is crazy. I could talk about him for days, but he's and I want to go back to persona because he's a good example at artists right now being in this space that we've never been in before, where they are so interconnected to media and we can see more of them more than we ever have. Yeah. And the fact that in order to almost be a huge household name these days, you have to build a persona and you have to build a world. And he very much is building a world around healing and bringing people into their bodies. And just naturally though.
Yeah. And I think that world building is so interesting in how consumers are really into it, because I think it speaks to the fact that people want to escape. Like people just don't want to be in their realities. And so they want to go into something else. I mean, talk about Brat Summer. Like that was a phenomenon. Did you know what Brat Summer was?
No.
Oh my fucking God.
I never knew, and I never took the time to look it up.
So Charlie XCX, she created an album called Brat, but she very much utilized this like persona of like the cool girl, but the uncool girl, the artist who is like, just like very vulnerable.
The starving artist, the tortured artist.
No. She talks about the persona a lot of an artist. And it was just like vulnerable.
In what way, though? What do you mean by that? You have to expand.
Like she talks about her relationship to fame and how she feels really cool as like Charlie XCX, but then also Charlie. like the person. She talks, it was just very raw, vulnerable, and talked about her experience in her persona, which I don't think that, it was almost meta. Like, I don't think people have seen that, where people are, she's like explicitly talking about her album or like her songs or her fame.
In her songs.
Like,
yeah, people do that though. I mean, Russ is the first person that popped into my head. I've been a long-term Russ fan back to his SoundCloud days.
Yeah.
And he literally, talk about speaking things into existence. His lyrics got him to fame. I mean, he manifested his entire career through his lyrics.
really?
Yes. He's now
we do
become
that?
so much more mainstream. Yeah, we should. He's now become so much more mainstream. So I listen to him less. But if you listen back to his old songs, I mean, he literally has a song called Manifest. He has really, really powerful lyrics that talk about his experience coming into such high levels of fame by like creating it through his lyrics, through what he writes.
I wasn't a huge, I really didn't know who he was, but Losing Control is one of my favorite songs ever.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I didn't realize that was him.
Oh my God, he's amazing.
But anyway, I just think that we're seeing like this world building, which is really interesting to me. And I think it speaks to, again, like people wanting to escape into a different reality. But I think the whole point of this conversation is being, again, we say this a lot, but like being so mindful of what reality you are escaping into. And being so mindful of the lyrics that you're consuming and the frequency. And I mean, even talking about this, like I want to go and take dance classes, and I want to go and listen to us, like be in a sound bath. Like I want to immerse myself in this more. And I think that's also what I hope each and every one of you listening can take away from all of our episodes, is like this inspiration to go and do the things that we're talking about, or go and experience things that we're talking about, or just be more mindful of them. And so, yeah, I think that if anything, this was a really good conversation to just explore like why music is so powerful and how we can utilize it for our own manifestations, our own dreams, our own peace, our own healing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, music taps into identity, culture, memory, healing, quantum physics, spirituality, all of these things. Like music is really a gateway for more mindfulness and more freedom and more like creation of identity, but at the same time, like also loss of identity and like being just beingness.
Yeah. And maybe also take away, build the soundtrack of your life. I think I want to do that. Like, I want to go through all of my like first memories with music and just like add them to one huge playlist and listen to it.
I have a playlist that is literally called "What Type of Music Do You Listen To?" And that's
good.
what I would play to people if they're like, "What type of music do you listen to?" And these are songs all across the map. There's no rhyme or reason to them other than like my most favorite, my most powerful songs.
Yeah.
And they're all in one place. And I encourage everyone to do that. Make a playlist that's called "What Type of Music Do You Listen To?" And it doesn't have to have any like cohesion other than the fact that these songs are so special to you.
Okay, I'm going to do that, and it's going to include hyperpop, and we're going to listen to it in France, just letting you know.
Can we be done?
Okay, bye.